Hey guys, hope you're having a good day. Today we're going to be talking about how to take one ore and turn it into 2 ingots instead of 1. As you can see from our last episode, those of you rejoining us, I've expanded out our little base here a little bit that we built in our first episode about mining diamonds with your bare hands. I'll link that video up above. But right now we're going to start to build out our base a little bit, and then I'm going to show you guys, I got a lot I want to show you guys today actually, so let's kind of jump right into it. I got a lot of the materials we're going to need, so we're going to start getting things set up here. The first thing I want to do is we have this rickety chest right here that's really doesn't have a lot of space in it. So we're going to upgrade that. But before we do that, I actually want to kind of talk about last episode. We got all this gravel, clay, and sand, and the reason we got it is because we're going to turn it into what's called grout, and this is going to build into our 1 ore to 2 ingots method. We're going to take and build 2 stacks of grout, and then we are going to let them smelt up. I'm going to try to actually split them evenly. Well, no, I'm going to go 1 stack, and I'll put my meat up there. So I don't have any coal right at the second to throw in there, so what I'll do just to get it started is toss in a couple wood, and I will off camera probably grab some coal to get this fully up and running. So what we're going to do right now, though, is set up some more pieces of our base. So one thing we're going to want, because we're going to be down here for a while, is a place for food. So I'm probably going to set that up over in this corner. So what we're going to do is we're going to mine out kind of a 3x6 area right here to set up a little baby farm. And for now, there's only really a couple things I'm going to need for this farm. So we're just kind of getting this area cleared out so I can actually put some dirt here. And good to go. So let's fill this in quickly. Now the question a lot of people are going to ask is, okay, well, you're underground, there's, you know, we just started our playthrough, so I don't have a bucket, even though I could make one, and I don't have water. What is my plan? My plan is to use these worms that I got. They're part of one of our mods, and we can just get them pretty easily by tilling grass with a hoe up in the overworld up there. And all we have to do is put it on the middle block of a 3x3 area, and it will automatically wet until all the dirt around it. I actually made this a little larger than I wanted to, but that's okay, because what I can actually do is just kind of expand this a little bit on each shot, or expand this a little bit. We'll expand it just this way. It's going to be a little rickety setup here because I can't harvest this resonating ore yet, but we'll put 6 more dirt down over here, just like this, and now we have a good chunk of tillable area right here, or farmable area. So what we're going to do is we're going to plant rice, and we are going to plant, it's still in my inventory, coffee seeds. So rice and coffee are going to be very useful for us in the future. I don't think I can turn coffee beans straight into coffee seeds. There is a way to do it. But rice I can turn right into seeds. So what we're going to do is this like third over here we'll use for coffee. And then the rest of it we're going to use for rice. And rice can be turned into bread pretty easily. Just like it can also be turned into slime, which is why I like it a lot. Because then I don't have to go hunting for slimes at some point when I need them. And the worms will actually, you'll see the green animation, the worms will actually help grow the crops a little faster too. So that piece is done, nice and easy. We're also going to make what's called a storage crate, which I can search up in here, because I was talking about the chest earlier. It's 4 chests, a wood casing, which is just some wood and some sticks, and then some more wood. It's a lot of wood is really what it comes down to, but what it's going to help us do, I know we're going to need at least 4 sticks, so let's grab those. We'll grab a couple more sets of just regular planks. We're going to build this wood casing first. And actually, I lied to you guys a little bit. We're going to need 4 chests, so we're going to take this, wrap it around. That's only 2 chests, good thing I can count. Take these 16, 2 more chests, 1 more set of wood planks, and now we have a small storage crate. And that may seem like a lot that's a lot of wood, but let's compare inventories here. This thing's got 3 by 8, it looks like. This thing is significantly larger than the 3 by 8 the chest gives us. And the nice thing is we can actually, with a certain upgrade over here, the storage crate keeper, we can actually break this at some point and it will maintain its inventory. So that's pretty big. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to go grab some coal. I'm going to start getting this stuff smelted. A little more than it already is. And then I will be right back. Alright guys, and I'm back. I had to get a little creative. Couldn't find any coal in easy mining distance, so I just grabbed some buckets of lava from next door and just used them to kind of fill up these furnaces. Now, I hear you guys kind of saying, hey, I clicked on this video because I wanted to see how to double my ores. Why aren't you doing that? And the answer is be patient. We're getting there. That's why we're waiting for this stuff to furnace up a little bit. These seared bricks that are smelted out of that grout we made earlier. I finished expanding this up a little bit. The rice is growing. There's a couple of blocks here that the rice doesn't want to grow on. I'll have to figure out why at a different point. And then I put this little door right here. This is going to actually be where our strip mine is going to go, which is something that we might talk about this episode or maybe next episode. It depends how long this takes to get through what I want to get through today. I'm obviously not going to strip mine a bunch on camera. That would be pretty boring to watch. And I also cleared out this area right here. I blocked off the lava because this is going to be where our ore doubler is going to go. So for those of you familiar with mods, what we're building is a Tinker's Smeltery. For those of you who have no idea what that means, don't worry about it. I'm going to show you. So we're collecting all these seared bricks, and we're going to make a smeltery, is what it's called. And it's a multi-block structure, which just basically means it takes up more than one block. And we're going to place it right here, and it's going to be our kind of main ore doubling facility. I'm actually going to expand this back just a little bit. I just thought about it. It's going to be sticking out of the wall if I don't move it back one. And this is going to provide us a lot of utility. It's actually really useful early game. Some mod players will actually disable this mod because they find it too overpowered, but I like it a lot, so we're going to be using it. So the smeltery is made out of a couple of main components. Let me empty my inventory here just so I have a little bit more room to work with. There we go. So the primary component of the smeltery is seared bricks, which are these things here, and we just take them and we turn them into a literal seared brick, kind of like clay wood. We're not going to make a bunch of seared bricks right this second because there are actually a couple of other things that we need to make sure the smeltery works. Number one, we're going to quick swap here. We need like 3 glass, so we're going to let that smelt up really quickly. While that's doing that, there's a couple things we need. We need a Smeltery Controller, which is pretty much just the brain of the smeltery. And it's also where we're going to put all of the ores when they're ready to go, once we're ready to go. We're going to need to set aside that much seared brick, but the rest of this we can just turn into seared brick. And that doesn't look like it's enough right out the gate, but we have another 20 grout here and another 20 or so coming in. So we should have plenty to work with. So next we're going to make what's called a seared tank. Nope, not a seared window, sorry, did that wrong. Tank, there we go. And this is essentially the gas tank for the smeltery. It's going to be its fuel supply. We're going to put it right there. And what I'm actually going to do is kind of punch a hole in this wall real quick. Because this thing takes lava. It can hold up to 4 buckets at a time. Not my furnace. And this is going to be what helps actually smelt everything. So that's now full. The last one that we're going to build, that's not just seared bricks, is this. It is a Smeltery Drain, and this is how we're actually going to get the ores out of the smeltery when we're done. And we get them out with, need my crafting stick, these faucets. So we'll have one faucet here, one faucet here, And this might seem kind of complicated. It actually is really easy once you get used to it. So practice makes perfect. Obviously, you can stop and pause this at any point and rewind as you need to. Let's start placing down some of our seared bricks just to get an idea of what we're working with here. So basically just the floor and the sides of the smeltery need to be in place. We're going to make a 2x2, which is going to hold 8 blocks of ore at a time. The bigger we make this, the more it can hold, but we're starting with a basic setup now. And you'll see as soon as I put that last block in place, this controller lit up, and now I can actually put ores in here. And I will demonstrate that because now we can double our ores. So I take this one iron ore right here, and I'll toss it in there. And we're going to give it a minute to smelt. While it's doing that, we're going to grab more of our seared bricks. And we're going to make what are called casting basins, which is just a fancy way of saying these are where the ingots are going to pour out to. That's still kind of smelting. Grab some aluminum. Actually, I got a couple gold ingots upstairs. I'm going to toss these in here too to use for a sec. And what you're going to see is this one ore, as soon as this bar fills up, it's going to make a liquid in here, and that liquid is going to say 2 ingots. And there it is. There's the molten iron, 2 ingots. So we just got 2 ingots from a single piece of ore. Obviously, that doesn't work with the actual ingots of gold that we just put in. We put in 2 ingots. We got out 2 ingots. That's not surprising. But when you put in actual just straight ore, you're going to get double. And that's a huge benefit all throughout the game. Now the question is, okay, how do we get the iron out? Well, what we're going to do first, we need to... Obviously, if I just pour the iron out right now, it's going to be like a square shape. That's not very useful to us. So we need it to be in the shape of an ingot. Just so happens that these bricks are shaped pretty much the same as an ingot. So I'm going to put one in the casting basin. I'm going to take the gold that I just made, or put in there, and I'm going to pour it over this brick. And what it's going to do is it's going to make an ingot cast. And just like that, there's a shape for the iron to actually take. That used up both of my gold ingots, but that's okay. So now I click on this, the iron pours, and I get an ingot, just like that. And we're going to automate this pretty early on just to not have to sit here and hit the faucet button over and over again. These casts can be made out of gold, or they can be made out of what's called aluminum brass, which sounds way fancier than it is. In order to make it, we just need to take 1 thing of copper and 3 things of aluminum, put them in this smeltery, and it actually will combine them into the aluminum brass. And I think I picked up some aluminum on my way down here. Am I a liar? Maybe. Let me see. Nope, it's right here. So 2 pieces of aluminum. We'll take 1 piece of copper. We're going to put these all in. They're all going to smelt up at the same time. As you can see, you can smelt up to 8 ores at once. But you want to be careful because if you don't want certain ores combining together, if you let certain ores combined, you're not going to get out what you want. There's a better way for me to explain that, but when this copper goes in, you'll see that we're not going to have just copper and aluminum. The aluminum and copper are going to combine together. And now I'm losing my copper and I'm losing my aluminum, but now I have this aluminum brass. And it's going to combine until one or the other runs out. That's why you want to be careful about what you put in. I think my copper's... Oh no, my aluminum ran out first. So we got kind of a very odd ratio, 5 ingots and 3 nuggets of aluminum brass. But that's okay. We'll take the aluminum brass, we'll do the same thing, put a brick down, hit pour. And now we're good to go. So, like the rest of this aluminum brass, I can click both of these faucets, and it's going to empty them out at the same time. And like I said, once this is running without our intervention, it's going to be a huge time saver. You can see there wasn't enough left in either of them to make an ingot. So if it clogs up like this, you just got to kind of break the table and replace everything down. But it doesn't happen very often, only when you're alloying things together in weird ratios. Oh, I put both down at the same time. Table, table, cast, cast. And again, we'll toss in 8 iron. Or, yeah, I can count. And that 8 iron will turn into 16 ingots. While that's going, we're going to set up a little more here for our crafting station. I'm actually going to clear out this area right here, because the Tinker mod, the Tinker's Construct mod, has a lot more in it than just this smeltery. And what it has is going to actually help us strip mine really, really quickly, but we're going to have to obviously get it set up first. So I'm going to take this storage crate. I'm going to break it, which seems like blasphemy, but I'm going to just move it over here to this corner. And I'll toss everything back in it and take what I need as I need it. I don't think there was a whole lot that I didn't get on the first round. My rice is starting to finish up. My coffee's finishing up. That's good. Alright, so now that that's moved, let's grab this wood. We're going to make a whole slew of things that aren't going to make a whole lot of sense to start with, but that's okay. The first one, everybody should know, it's a crafting table, but if you put the crafting table back in, you can get what's called a crafting station. What's the difference? This one has legs, which is not really the main difference. The bigger difference is that because this is right next to the storage crate, I can actually open it and the entire storage crate inventory is going to be here for me to work with. So I don't need to jump between my storage and my crafting table a whole bunch. And I will organize this a bit better, probably off camera at some point. But that's the first thing we need. We need a couple of other things though. Let's get some sticks, because we're going to need those. So what we're going to make, we're going to take some wood planks, make them into a cross with the sticks, and we're going to get these things called blank patterns. We only need about 12 of them. And then we take these blank patterns and we combine them with a bunch of other stuff. So let me just get things set up here. I'm going to have a chest. And I'm going to have another crafting table. And so these blank patterns I'm going to combine with all sorts of things. I'm going to put it with a crafting table to make a tool station. I'm going to put it with a chest to make a pattern chest, big piece of wood for a part builder, and then a regular plank for a stencil table. And I'm going to place these all down in a sort of kind of configuration here. Don't get too stressed out about this, because we're going to go over this in a little more detail now. So now these are all connected and touching each other. No matter which one I click on, I can kind of tab between them, which is more or less what we want to be able to do. So what Tinkers allows us to do is custom make tools, whether it's pickaxes, regular axes. I can actually go over here and there's a whole list of tools and weapons that we can make. And we can make the parts of those tools out of different things. So if I click on a pickaxe, you'll see that there's parts of the tool, and each part can be made out of a different material, and depending on what material I make it out of, I can actually do things, essentially. I can add things to the weapon. That was the words I was looking for. Let me readjust here real quick. So, the first thing we're going to make is just a standard pickaxe. It's not going to be super complicated, but it'll also show you guys, we'll use some wood and we'll have some stone. It'll show you guys kind of how this process works. So, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start on the stencil table. This is where we take those blank patterns that I left on the crafting table. This is where we turn the patterns into actual parts we want to make. So, to make a mining pick, we'll need a pickaxe head. We'll need a small tool binding. And we'll need a tool rod. And I can see what I need by clicking over here. It tells me what components I need. Tool rod, pickaxe head, and binding. And you'll see that as I was making them, I was putting them over here. This is the pattern chest that I just made. I could just put them over here so I'm not filling up my inventory with random stencils, essentially. Next, we go over to the part builder, and we're going to take these stencils we just made. We're going to take the material we want to make them out of, and we can just make the piece. Now you'll see that this pickaxe says Cheapskate. That's the special ability of stone when it's used as a pickaxe head. It's not a good one, but it'll help us. It's just kind of a basic mining pick to demonstrate. And we can switch out pieces, which I will show you as we get going. So that's that piece. The binding, we're probably going to make out of wood. And then the tool rod, we will also make out of wood. Then we go over to the tool station. We put all the pieces in, and we have a stone pickaxe. Now, this isn't super useful to us because we can already break things at a stone tool level, and its crafting speed, or its mining speed, is only 4. So if I go over here and mine with it, it's not that much faster than breaking it with my bare hands because I have the monk mod that we talked about last time. But there's a couple of nice things about using a tinker tool versus using a regular tool. Number one, if I come back to the tool station here, I can put the pickaxe back on, I can put a corresponding piece of material on it, and I can repair it. And these things, when they break, they won't actually just disappear. They will just stay broken, and then you can come back and repair them. So they kind of last forever as long as you have the resources to make it work. And I can also pretty easily change out what the tools are made out of. So I'm actually going to demonstrate that now. You can see we have 16 ingots of molten iron. I'm putting these brass ingots back in to make a new cast. So when I'm working with basic materials like stone and wood, I don't need to have anything smelted. But when I start to make things out of metal, I have to actually smelt them. I need more stone than that. So let me grab this and let me grab iron ingots just to demonstrate. So 2, 3. There we go. It's 2 stone. There we go. So you can see that 2 stone makes me a stone pickaxe head. We already did that. If I put 2 iron in here, it's not going to let me make it. In order for me to make something out of metals, I have to pour it out of the smeltery. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that now. The first thing we're going to do is make sure the aluminum brass, if we click it, it'll go to the bottom. That means it's the first thing that will come out. I'm going to get rid of this cast. It's in my inventory now. I'm going to put down the pickaxe head I just made out of stone. And I'm going to make a cast of the pickaxe head. Now it's there. Now, if I put the iron back on the bottom and pour, I am going to get an iron pickaxe head. So when you're trying to make a weapon out of metals, you have to do it this way. I'm going to switch this back to the ingots, and I'll start draining these over time. This can go not in the pattern chest. I'm just going to toss it in here. So now I have an iron pickaxe head. I can take my stone pickaxe. I can take the iron pickaxe head, and boom, just like that, I've updated it. Now if I want to repair it, I have to make sure I use iron ingots instead of stone. But this is obviously a little faster than the pickaxe we were just using. It harvests up to diamond. So this is probably what I will use in the beginning when I start to strip this mine out a little more. We can add a bunch of bonuses and stuff to it, but we can't do that until we have a couple more resources. So, like I said, we just grab these. We keep emptying these. I'm going to take most of my ores and keep funneling them in. Automating this will be a step we take probably next episode. And I can do this with any tool set. I can do this with weapons. I can do this with axes. And we're going to upgrade all this stuff pretty early on. But for now, I just wanted to show you how you could double your ores. So, also, our rice is finished up here. The coffee I'm going to leave. I don't need it right now. When we get rice, we're going to get seeds, which we can try to replant if it'll let us. I'm also going to grab this coffee, but I don't need it right now. Just going to put that stuff in the chest here. But the rice itself, I take the rice, I make an L, and it's going to make rice dough. And then I put this dough into a smeltery. And assuming that I have something to smelt it with, this rice dough is going to turn into bread. And now you might be asking, why don't I just use wheat instead? And the reason is because I can also turn rice into slime, which is really helpful so I don't have to go hunting slimes later. So now I got a pretty decent source of food, and as you can see, the rice stayed behind, so I can just regrow it over and over again, as long as it lets me. So I think that's all we're going to cover for this episode. There was a lot of different things, but hopefully you can stop and pause. If you have any specific questions or want me to break down something more, leave it in the comments below. And I'm going to probably mine this out some and get some resources before the next episode so we can actually cover some stuff. But other than that, I will see you guys next time.